Chapter 8, Closed for the Season. At the beginning of our travels, Dad and I briefly visited, but we didn't go to, the White River Light Station in Whitehall, located about 30 miles north of Grand Haven. Now, as fall was approaching, we wanted to go on a tour of this lighthouse. We drove to the White River Light Station, went on a tour, and greatly enjoyed it. Next, we headed 25 miles north to visit, for a second time, Little Sable Point. Little Sable was the first lighthouse we actually did tour and climb to the top of. At 107 feet tall, Little Sable is 5 feet shorter than Big Sable, which is located 30 miles to the north. Throughout our travels, we took a lot of video of the lighthouses we visited, but we didn't record much video of Little Sable the first time we visited, so I wanted to go back. While we had been visiting the White River Light Station earlier in the day, a worker had told us that Little Sable was closed for the season. We were disappointed to hear this, but we wanted to go to the lighthouse anyway because we had planned on going and we were looking for an adventure. Little Sable sits on a beautiful public beach. Even though the lighthouse was closed for tours for the season, we were surprised to see when we arrived that day that there were no other visitors to the beach. That was fine with us. We had the place all to ourselves. We took pictures and video of Little Sable, and then we circled around the lighthouse and walked out towards Lake Michigan. I told Dad while he was recording that even though the lighthouse was closed for the season, it would be funny if someone had a key to Little Sable and then they opened the door and let us in. Dad responded, "Who gets really lucky with that kind of stuff?" I answered, "Us." We took a little more video, headed back over to Little Sable, and Dad took a picture of me as I pulled as hard as I could on the lighthouse door. I really wanted to get in. Unfortunately, there wasn't anyone around to let me in. We headed back on the long pathway towards our car. When we got close to the car, we turned and looked back. We had a good view of the tall, beautiful lighthouse from that location. We stopped and spent a few minutes being grateful for our time at Little Sable. We also thought about a few of our memories at other lighthouses. After doing so, we walked over to our car and started to get in. At that moment, Dad started to get excited. He said to me, "Do you see that man who just pulled up in the pickup truck? He grabbed a 5-gallon bucket out of his truck along with a gallon of water. I think he may be here to do some volunteer work." The man, who appeared to be a senior citizen, headed up the sidewalk towards the tall lighthouse. We let him get a little bit of a lead, and then we eagerly followed. It was very exciting for both of us. The man continued to make his way towards Little Sable. He was getting closer and closer. I couldn't believe it. Finally, the man arrived to the lighthouse, pulled out a key, unlocked the door, opened it up, and started to walk inside. As soon as we could see the man's key, Dad started to approach the man. Dad got the man's attention, explained why we were visiting Little Sable that day, and asked if I could come inside for a visit. The man kindly answered yes. I couldn't believe it. Little Sable was supposed to be closed for the season, but this kind man was going to let me in. Thanks to another perfect situation, a request I had made had been answered. Earlier, out on the beach, I had hoped that someone would let me inside Little Sable, and now a volunteer worker was actually letting me inside. It was so exciting. It was like a dream come true. It reminded us of the times with the sanderlings and the ducks. After my time inside Little Sable, during which Dad took some pictures I will always remember, we joyfully ran up the sidewalk back to the car. It was incredible how happy I was feeling as I skipped and bounced and ran back. Back at the car, we enthusiastically did our We Did It dance as we looked out at Little Sable. We spent a little more time being grateful, and then we headed off. We were absolutely amazed at all of the incredible luck we had been experiencing throughout our adventures. By this time, Dad had started to notice a pattern with the ducks, with the sanderlings, and at Little Sable. Dad realized that if we hadn't taken a little time to slow down, take a deep breath, and really enjoy the nature that surrounded us and the experiences that we were having, if we hadn't taken a little time to slow down and allow the magic to come to us, we would have missed out on all of those incredible experiences. The ducks would have flown by behind us, the sanderlings would have been waiting elsewhere, and the Little Sable volunteer would have still been driving down the road. We also realized that in all three of these instances, we were running late. We had somewhere we needed to go, and we both knew it. But by finding a way to get past the normal feeling of being in a hurry and turning that completely around and turning it into super positive emotions, the universe kept giving us treasure. In a similar way, if we hadn't been appreciating the things around us, we wouldn't have slowed down and stopped at Dad's old office building, and we certainly wouldn't have noticed Flutter lying injured on the ground. And thank goodness we got slowed down from our schedule by the suntan lotion at Big Sable and by the free tickets to Mackinac Island. If we hadn't welcomed in all the delays, if we hadn't taken the extra time to be grateful and happy, we would have missed out on all the best stuff that happened during our travels that summer. And that's the biggest lesson I took from our adventures, which I will remember forever.